How to close your swimming pool for winter. So you want to vacuum up all this stuff, balance your water out a couple days before, and then we're going to lower it down. You can either pump it out or just backwash it down. Remove the ladders and whatever else you have in the pool cleaner, move everything all out. So right now we're going to drop this water down. Now I'm going to use these duck plugs. I'll show you how to use them, but I want to blow the lines underwater. So for that, I'm going to drop that down. I'm going to use a Gizzmo for that, that I could use without dropping the water too far down. So we're going to turn it to backwash. And turn it back on. And drop it down a little bit. And we're cleaning the sand at the same time. Next is take out all the jets. And then we're going to be putting in these duck plugs. I'll link this down below. Just so we can blow the lines underwater. So we know it's 100% sealed. If I drop that water below that return, and I blew the lines out and then Teflon tape a plug and put it back on, we know the water's going to get back on. Doesn't matter what kind of cover you have. Over the winter time, if you get snow and ice and all that stuff, rain, it's going to come back up over top. How do you know it's not totally sealed? With a duck plug, you know it's totally sealed because it's underwater. When we blow the lines out, when we stop blowing the lines, this collapses back in. And if this has failed at all, you'll see a bunch of bubbles come up, and we know that the water's getting back in. So put these on where you can. Some pools you can put these on, some pools you can't. The plug's on, and the yellow piece is right there. I'll show you how to do that after. So these duck plugs, I put some Teflon tape on there just for an added protection. But then you got this O-ring right here, and it goes right into the jet. You can't put these on every single pool and every single jet. It depends on if you can use them or not on yours, but they're great to have. Next, we're going to take off the ladder if you have one. Now, the trick for this is not to bring this bolt up all the way. Do a couple turns and see how it's raised up a bit. I'm going to bang that down. There's a wedge down there. You don't want it falling down, so because we still have it connected. So then we can pull it out. Do that on both sides equally. If it comes undone, if you can feel that it comes undone, make sure it screws back in. Okay, we got it out. Once you get it out, that's what it looks like. There's a little wedge. So you take all this stuff and just throw it in a basket. And then when you put this next year, you can just grease this all up. It's easier to take off each time. Take your skimmer basket and all the jets you just took out, just put them all in one. Same with anything else, just put it all in one basket. Take these off the ladder if you can. Same as with the bumpers on the bottom of it. Take those off because this is full of water. Again, everything goes into the basket, so you're not going to lose everything. So the ladder, when you're done, you can either hang it on the fence or just put it inside somewhere. Just your standard setup for a basic pool. So you got your filter, your pump, your heater. So this is a Ray pack, and this is a Hayward pump, and then a Hayward filter. So we've already backwashed it down far enough. So I'm going to show you how to put the Gizzmo in, Ultra Gizzmo. See, I didn't really drop the water too far down. I just brought it down until it started sucking air. So the front hole there, this one right there, that's my main drain. Your main drain might go to the pump house, but this one here is open. That one's not plugged off. Yours might be plugged. So you might not have a main drain. If it's plugged, then it's probably going to be inside the pump house. But for this pool here, front is main drain, back is to the pump house, to the pump. So I have to block off the front first. So for what I do, take a piece of foam, maybe about 12 inches long, off like a pool noodle. This is my plug, it's 2-inch. Yours might be a 1.5 inch. So I just put it in to the front. Now, I've never had any problems in 18 years. Some pool places will do things a little different, but in 18 years I've never had an issue, and I'm in Canada, so as long as a piece is long enough,
that foam inside, even if it freezes, it's down far enough that the frost won't go down that far anyway. Usually it's around 4 feet normally. There we go. Now I just hand tight that because I'm going to be putting some there's going to be antifreeze in here too. There's water there. You can drop it below that and then fill it up full of antifreeze also. But it's all going to be full anyway. Here's the gizmo we use. It's called an Ultra Gizmo. Has a plug on the top. And it's easier to blow out. So you got a 1.5 inch, you got a 2 inch. We have a 1.5 inch for our thread for the towards the pump. Take the front plug off. Or take the top plug off. That's where it's going to blow out. Because we want to blow this underwater. If you use the other one where there's no plug, then you're going to have to drop the water below the skimmer. Put her in. Now it's just snug. Now if we blow it out, and when I stop, if I see any bubbles coming up and around there, then I got to redo this. Let's hook up the blower inside. Before you blow anything, turn the heater off and then turn the gas off. If you have power to it, turn the power off. We don't want this thing turning on while you're blowing it out, thinking that's full of water. So make sure that the heater's off, power's off, and the gas is off. Very important.
This is a heater that I forgot to turn off the power and the gas to. I forgot to turn off the power to this heater. We had the gas on, and when I was blowing the lines, it was pretty much melted everything. So I had to quickly turn off the gas, turn off the power. This is the reason why, before you blow your lines, this is the reason why always turn the power off to your heater, turn off the gas. Whoa. So this is a Hayward pump. So there's 2 plugs. There's one on the side and then there's one in the front. So take those out and then take the basket out also. So you clean the basket out. The 2 plugs we took off the pump, put that in the basket. The drain for the bottom of your filter, make sure that is off. So we're gonna take that off. In the basket. So we have our blower set up. Whatever blower you're gonna use, you gotta make sure it's powerful enough that it could do the job. Here I'm blowing out a main drain, and you need a blower that could do this. If it can't do that, then it's not going to blow the rest of the lines properly. So you have to blow the front suction of the pump. So whatever comes into the front of the pump, that's going to be that skimmer, that gizmo we just put in. Or it's going to be maybe you have, there's only one suction here, so I know it's just the skimmer. You might have 3 other things on there. You might have a side suction, you might have the right to the main drain, but you should have some shut-off valves. Whatever ones you're going to blow out, just do one at a time. Have the other valve shut off and just do one at a time. But for this pool here, just the basic pool, that's the skimmer. Do whatever you can to blow all that stuff out. Just going to turn that on. I'll show you what it looks like. So after about 5 minutes or so, you see there's just mist. You just shut it off. Next, we're gonna put some antifreeze right in that hole. You can take a funnel and put that in there if you want. I just let some splash in around it. Now if you get about a 4-liter jug, just use the whole thing. And that plug we took off, put that back in. Now if you had a smaller jug, this is a big jug, but if you had a smaller jug, it would be empty. And you put the cap back on it. And I just stick it through the front of the skimmer. It's just an added safety feature. We have that flap in there, which is called a weir. This thing here. So we have to take that off. So if you put that container in there, it holds it down. So you got the weir out. Some of them are harder to take out than others. This one's sort of waterlogged. Some of them have little handles here. You can just pull them. I think we should have been able to pull that, but it didn't come out. So you got to get a screwdriver in there and wiggle it out. Try not to break it. Take that and you put it in your basket also. So we're done with this. Next is the return lines. After you're done with everything on the outside, just put it in the basket and stick it somewhere inside the pump house. Nobody's going to mess with that. You might not have the union. This is a union right here. You might not have this, so you might have to cut it. So whatever it's a discharge from the top of the pump to the filter, I would suggest to put a union in here. If you don't have one right away, just cut it and you can always put one in next year. So hook your hose to it. It's going to be a blower anyway, so hook your blower to that. This is going to be the jets. Don't turn it on yet, I got to show you the next step. So Hayward filter, we're going to turn it to recirculate. If you have a different type of filter, it might say Whirlpool. So what this does is it just goes through the top dial. You don't want the air pushing through the sand. So it'll just go through here and out and through the heater. So let's turn that on and I'll show you what it looks like. So you want all your jets looking the same when they're blowing out. And as that's going on, we got both jets equal. So I'll show you what's next. So as it's running, we're gonna take this plug out right here. This is a Ray pack, there's two of them, but just take this one out here. And then there's one right here, right in there. But it's hard to take off, and a lot of times we drop it down inside here. So we haven't taken them out for a long time, which is fine. Just blow your lines out a little bit longer. Same as the salt cell. Salt cell, some of them we've taken them off, but this particular style here, we just leave it on. If you have to blow the lines out longer, then that's fine. So next, because they're backwash, you might have the backwash hose where it's just connected here. So you just disconnect it, roll it up, no big deal. But if you have a backwash that goes outside, maybe in the ground, we're gonna blow that line out too. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it to waste. Turn it to waste. And we're gonna turn the blower back on. You do that for a few minutes and then you're good to go. So next is, you can turn this to closed. Usually over here. Turn it to closed or halfway. Usually I just go halfway in between any of them. Pressure gauge, take that off. Sight glass, your backwash sight glass. Take that off. Everything. Even the plug from the heater. Basket. We're done with blowing the pump. So that's going to go back in there. Okay, make sure that's all covered back up. Your equipment's done. You can put this back together. Heater, again, make sure that everything, the gas is turned off, this is turned off. The switch is turned, power is turned off. If you have a timer, make sure that's off. And not only here, we want it off. We want it off at the breaker. So make sure the breaker's turned off. We want the power off from there to go here. We don't need power in here. If you have a salt cell, make sure the power is off. Even if you have to turn this off. Again, breaker, turn it off. Back on the pool side, we're going to put these caps back on our returns. If you see any bubbling, we have to redo the plugs. Now we're done everything. Whatever cover you have, you can put it on now.